Jets County Executive Airport Information 1853 Zulu weather. Wind 0406, visibility 10, sky clear, temperature 7, 2.0, altimeter 3001. Visual approach and use, landing and departing runway 36, advise on initial contact you have pop-up.
Executive Ground Skylane November 58843 at the East T hangars, ready to taxi to the active for departure to the south, and we have pop-up.
Skylane 58843, exec ground, runway 36, taxi via Foxtrot Bravo.
Foxtrot Bravo to 36843. Well, so far so good. That's about where it popped open.
Okay, you can go ahead and take it then.
All right, I got it.
Got it.
My airplane.
Your airplane, because I'm going to be holding this stupid door open.
All right.
Or shut. Yep, we're good. All right, you can go to direct to Jugot now.
All right. Activate approach.
So, I'm going to take the plane for a second. You have a headband, right?
Oh yeah, I see.
All right, I got the plane.
Airplane?
So this is sort of a trick instructors do. If you want, you can even open it.
So
That might be better.
Runway 36, clear touch go.
Clear touch go on 367 Tango Whiskey.
Ooh, it's getting hazy.
Come on, get in there.
That's an old instructor trick.
All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
It is a, like I said, it's an old instructor trick.
It works.
My instructor did it to me when I still learned. We were still at the tail end of using paper charts. Like, I had an iPad, but I also bought paper. And people still had the charts in their bag just in case. This was like right when everybody was getting, like when general aviation was getting into like flight and stuff heavy. And my instructor took my paper chart and put it, paper charts work best, checklists work. In fact, AOPA, sometimes their events, they'll give out it's a folded piece of cardboard that just sits under your headset like that. And of course it's like fancy because it's, they give it out, but you know what I mean? And when we go missed here, we're just going to go straight south.
Okay.
And then eventually I'll turn you around to go to Miami County.
Lawrence area traffic, King Air 904 Bravo Alpha, CCAT's inbound on the RNAV 33 approach, Lawrence.
So we've gone past our 26 as we're getting closer to where we actually need to start pointing down. Harrisonville traffic, Skylane 58843 is approximately 10 to the north. Will be low approach on runway 17 Lawrence. God, it's hazy.
Is it?
Yeah. I know, you're just like, I can't see anything. Lawrence traffic, Skylane 58843, we're approximately 7 to the north. Will be low approach on runway 17 Lawrence.
15.
Sorry, Harrisonville.
What the hell?
I don't know. People are weird. Harrisonville traffic, 58843, 4 mile final straight in, runway 17, low approach only, Harrisonville.
Fence lights.
You didn't turn the field lights on. I know, because I don't see them.
Didn't turn the what on?
Field lights. What are the 3 lights?
Oh, yeah.
No,
well,
field.
Landing, yeah. Field, well,
How do you turn the field lights on?
7 clicks.
Yeah, I would do that then. Harrisonville traffic, Skylane 58843, 3 mile final straight in, runway 17, low approach only. Harrisonville.
Orange Skyline 3387 Romeo, 2 mile final, 15. Orange.
I'm way fast.
Yep, because you sort of... What you did is you flew that whole beginning with only like 100 foot a minute descent to 200 foot a minute descent, right?
Yeah.
And now you're having to go, first of all, carb heat. And now all of a sudden you have to go like, down, right?
Yeah.
And now you've taken out a ton of power. Add some power in. You're not going to make it down, but I'm also trying to keep the plane from being overly cooled. Harrisonville traffic, 58843, mile final straight in, runway 17, low approach only. We'll go mist to the south Harrisonville. Go ahead and look up right now. See where you're pointing?
Yeah.
Not near the runway. Let's go ahead and go mist. Carb heat in. There we go. Full power. Do you hit your 500 feet? Harrisonville traffic 58843 going mist off runway 17, departing to the south Harrisonville. And you can get set up to go to Miami County.
Okay.
So what heading did I give you?
210.
And how do you know that?
Because that's what you told me. I didn't write it down.
Right, but what could you do instead of writing it down?
Oh, put my heading back on there.
There we go.
RNAV 03.
Yes, and you're going to Kuvi.
All right.
So see how right now we're turning this way?
Yeah.
We're doing like basically 90 degrees at that. What I intended was for us to come in like that.
Okay.
So remember we talked about this? You want to get your GPS sending you in the right direction. Because at that point, you were just like flying a random direction, right? And yes, I gave you a heading, but when they tell you, like, when you're going to tell them, like, okay, here's my next approach and stuff, they're going to start getting you on headings right away because there's other planes around you. There's trajectories, right? So, like, remember the one time I gave you the point? And then by the time we got to actually programming the GPS, we were way far, like, south of that, and that point didn't work anymore.
Yes.
So it's sort of that same thing. If they're giving you a point and stuff, remember they're drawing a line with you and every other plane. And so for them to go like, oh, that's, this plane is intending to go this way, and then you travel another 10 miles, but never actually turn the course they give you, that's going to screw up like all those other trajectories.
All right, so weather. Well, I've got the GPS set. I'm on approach mode. I've got 122.8 in there. Got the weather down there.
Cherokee 3464 kilo, 1 mile final 435. Full stop. Audible.
New Century Air Center.
So always turn
Automated
this
weather observation.
lower than your radio.
853 Zulu. Wind 070 at 03. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 07 Celsius. Dew point 01 Celsius. Altimeter 3002. Remarks. Density altitude 300. New Century Air Center. Automated weather observation 1853.
And brief. All right, we're going into Kuvi. And,
660, turning left base, runway 35.
all right.
And I know the approach, the hold is at 31 minimum. We're just going to do the 26 because, quite frankly, it's better than being in the haze.
Okay.
It's safe. There's nothing that we're going to hit, so I'm not worried about that. But that's only because it's VFR.
Returning final 35 Ottawa.
Right. So my decision altitude is 1284, we'll say 1300. And 35 degrees in.
Ottawa traffic, 23466 is clear the rest.
Final approach fix is Copac.
Ottawa.
Cross Copac at 2,600.
Which is what we'll stay at right now. That's fine.
Yeah.
Normally I'd say go up and then come and follow the glide path down and all that stuff, but it's way less hazy. I know you can't see it, but it's way less hazy down here than it is up at 3. I think that's where that lift is.
Fort got traffic. Bonanza 6695, Delta's doing a RNAV.
All right, you seem to get it, got it going on.
95 Delta.
So far. Still early in the approach.
Yeah, just
I'm going to screw it up at some point.
just remember that. Remember these spots here where it feels like there's nothing to do. There's always something to do, right? You can always think about like, okay, so like for me, I'm going to give you some missed instructions. Oh, you feel when we go over the road. I'm going to give you some missed instructions. Like when we go missed, I want you to just fly due east for me, okay?
Yeah.
First climb to 1,000, then we're going to fly due east.
Okay.
Because then we're going to go to home and we're going to do the RNAV 36 into there.
Okay.
So what you can already do is start thinking like, okay, I'm coming to Kuvi. Like what kind of, it's not giving it to you right now, but what kind of hold entry do you think this is?
Probably a
traffic Warrior 3936, Mike.
parallel.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
East, planning to enter midfield.
So you're probably going to do a parallel.
Summit traffic.
It's a GPS. It's either a 4 or 5 mile turn. It's GPS hold, so you don't have stay at 26.
Yeah, it's a 4 mile.
Yeah.
Turn.
So it's a 4 mile turn. The GPS is going to tell you to turn. And then you're going to turn back in, and you were already at 26, so you don't have to worry about that. Everybody's doing approaches today. So you can already start thinking about all that, like, ahead of time. So when you were, like, on the last one where you're like, oh, I thought that was, you do it at the fix.
Yeah.
So here's the logic of that. If you start doing something, when literally IFR flight, the most important part of that whole flight, well, not the most, well, yes, the most important. The most critical part of that flight is that little 5 mile stretch as you're pointing a plane down at the ground and you can't see, right?
Right.
Is that time you want to start thinking about like, well, I do this most important thing of the whole 2 or 3 hour flight. Should I be messing with like lights? Should I be messing with, trying at that point seeing if I should put my gear down and if they even work? What you want to do, it's called the final approach fix checklist. And remember we talked about this, a mile or 2 out, you can start running some of it, right?
Yeah.
And then you want it needs to be done by the final approach fix.
Okay.
Because remember,
that makes more sense to me because especially putting the flaps in when you're trying to capture and stay on the glide slope.
So what you can do is you can start running it 2 or 3 miles out. So a lot of times when you fly a geared plane, you'll use the gear to slow down because they're like freaking air brakes, especially the bigger the plane you are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you felt it. You've been on a Delta flight, right? And you feel them pull the gear. You hear that like zzzz, and then the minute you hear it, the plane's like, and like almost feels like it's being sucked backwards.
Yeah.
That's like the gear coming down. And so, I mean, they've got massive multi-tire gear on, you know, and multi-like gear. So they are going to, you know, now if I put them out in the aero, comparatively, it's still a lot of drag, even though I just have one wheel on each one. Because my plane is much smaller. And so, like, if you are in a geared plane and somebody puts the gear out, you can feel it just like shh. So one of the things people do when you're flying a plane with gear is you put the gear out to slow down, almost like mini flaps in a sort of way. It's calculating the drag of what's going to happen. So that's fine. So like I would do that sometimes, like depending on 3, 4, 5 miles out, depending on if I need to slow down, if I need to create some drag, I'm going to do that before I go put my flaps out. You're going to make sure your plane lights are on. You can do that 4 or 5 miles out, right? Nothing says you get. Now your field lights, I personally don't turn on until when I key that radio to either. Well, if you're going to key the radio to tell tower, they've already got them on for you. So that's not your problem. If you're not going to key the tower to key the mic to call tower, then you can key the mic to turn on the lights. That's the one thing I do like half a mile before the fix, is I'll either key tower or key the lights. And the reason is I don't do it like 10 miles out is because some of these fields have lights that shut off pretty quickly.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
And by the time you get down there, so there's either two things that are going to happen. You're too far away and they just won't turn on. Or by the time you get down there, at least some of its lights do not stay on that long. At least some of its lights turn off super quick, in my opinion. So what happens is if you turned them on, if you were able to even key them on 10, 15 miles out, which I don't know what the range of those are, but even if you were able to key them on, at least some of its lights don't stay on very long, and more than likely they'd be off by the time you got there. So that is the one thing that I'm doing, but I mean that's just literally pushing this button as you fly. You're not really doing anything else. And again, even that I do half a mile before. So timer, I'll start my timer like 0.2 before, and I know it's going to add about 10 seconds, and I'm okay with that. I mean, you got to remember that as you go to do. If your missed time is say 3 minutes 31 seconds, you know it's going to be 3 minutes 41 seconds, and that's just sort of a habit you get into. But generally, when you hear people talk, they'll tell you that once you cross the final approach fix, you're not going to make any changes to the plane until you're in like the final stages of I am putting it down on the runway. So that 4 miles or so where you're just sort of coming down, generally that's all going to be the same airspeed, the same pitch, the same, like everything's going to be the same. And then as you get closer, like Frank and I just landed at IXD off of an ILS, and as we got closer, because like way back at like 4 miles out, he's like, I should start slowing down, and I'm like, no, you still got like 3 miles to go. And then you can start slowing down. Because he only had to slow down 10 knots, right? So go ahead and just slow down, like slow down as you're closer. The other thing is, and I said, if your crosshairs aren't matched, if you're not, like this, you slow down because you can fix it. But if you're like this coming down, then just like slowing down now is just going to just like add some extra that you don't, like, why are you, if everything's working, why are you messing with stuff? You don't need to slow down for another 3 miles. The point of instrument is to be a good enough pilot that you can go like, oh, I'm at mile 2, I need to slow down, I'm going 100, I have 2 miles to slow down to 80. And knowing enough about your plane and the weather conditions and the wind conditions and everything to estimate how long that's going to take effectively. So if I'm going, say, 100 on my airspeed, but I got a 20-knot headwind straight down the runway, I don't need to slow down that much until I'm starting to really see that runway. If I've got a 10-knot tailwind and I'm going 100, I'm going to start slowing down because I'm not going to have enough time to like really effectively slow down when I see that runway. Is it hot out? If it's hot out, I don't need to slow down because I know 182 is going to drop the minute you start pulling that power back half a mile from the runway. So I'm not going to slow down. Is it, 10 degrees out with really dry air? Okay, well now I'm going to like start thinking about slowing down sooner, right? Because that plane's going to be less likely to just drop.
5748 Alpha, we're 5 to the northeast, inbound for...
So when you do instrument it assumes you're able to do all that stuff anyway. It doesn't try to be easy on you and kind of have that forgiving aspect.
Right. Full stop, Gardner.
That's why they make you have 50 hours of cross country time as a PIC before you do it, as they're not expecting you to be able to fly that good out of the gate. They know you can't. Looking good.
All right, so I have 3.2 to Kuvi.
Not for X-ray left base.
Yeah, somebody's landing at Miami County. I didn't hear what runway, but that shouldn't really affect us. Yeah, due east will be perfect for what they need.
Okay.
Your next approach will be the RNAV 36 into OJC with Mara as your point.
All right.
Miami County traffic 1 Tango Delta left base to final, runway 3 full stop, Miami County.
Okay. He's not going to be a factor. He's landing the same runway and he's on short final, or he's on base anyway, so. By the time we get there, he will be eating barbecue.
Oh, I'm hungry.
I had a sausage biscuit at 8 o'clock or 8:30 this morning, so yeah, I haven't eaten all.
Oh, wow.
Miami County traffic, Skylane 58843 is approximately 10 to the south, will be a low approach on runway 03 straight in Miami County.
All right, so
3936 Mike, turning downwind, runway 36, leave up traffic.
6 to Copac, so I'm going to...
So this is
I
where
don't really need to slow down that much at this point.
No, yeah, you're actually doing pretty good. So it's more of time, it's an RNAV approach, so you don't have a timer. Gear, we've got ours down and welded. Our power, you seem to be doing pretty good with power. Just know, where it is. We're not going to put our prop full forward quite yet because we still got a little to go. Power, we're talking to Miami County. We gave them a report of where we are.
Yeah, lights.
Lights, this is where I'd go, okay, well, plane lights, yes. Field lights, no. And then flaps, not yet. It's a practice.
There's 9 Delta Romeo, clear of runway 3, clear of the active.
He's down, so that's good. I wouldn't put flaps just because we're doing a practice.
361 Juliet, we are 5 miles.
Oh my God! So only complaint about this plane.
For a 45, the downwind runway 34, sky traffic.
Is that if you turn the heat all the way off, you freeze, and if you pull it out, you burn. All right, looking good. So again, we're sitting at 3, so this is where you could go again. Time, we don't have gear down and welded. Power, looking okay. Tower, we could make another call if we wanted to here in a couple miles.
Yeah.
Flaps we're not going to use this time, so we're going to be about Miami County traffic, Skylane 58843, 7 miles straight in on runway 03 will be low approach only, Miami County. I'm just guessing the distance. I think there's it's like a 4.5 or something, isn't it? And then we're 3.
I don't know, but I'm a little low.
Yeah, you are low. That always happens as you slow down, remember?
Yeah.
And so you're doing the thing where you're going to climb again, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost always at this 3 mile mark. Not sure what that's about. You've got to think about that 3 mile mark. So here's the thing, and Frank did this too. See how you're flying in a nose up as we're supposed to start thinking about coming down?
Yeah.
I know you're trying to climb, but what happened is you didn't add enough power. You just sort of pulled the nose up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had power in, I pulled it back.
Yeah, what you want is actually, in that situation, a little more power, a little less nose up.
Lisa, traffic, we're at 3936, my correct's going to go ahead and exit.
But now you don't want to climb because you're half a mile away. So what's happening is now you're going to start coming down from a nose-up position.
Yeah, my glide path is starting to come in.
Traffic, November 6361 Juliet, entering the left, downwind, runway 34, traffic.
Miami County traffic, Skyline 58843 is 4 mile final, straight in runway 03, low approach only Miami County.
I'm going to put my carb heat out.
Yeah.
My prop in at this point.
Oh, yeah. And this is where, you know, we'd be doing lights.
Right. Flaps.
Yeah, flaps. Now, the flaps I do about a mile to a half a mile before my final approach fix, if we're going to put them down.
Yeah.
So don't pick up any more speed. And if the glide path gets away from you, we're going to use it as a lesson. So don't overdive. Don't dive that, like, you know, because I don't want you to pick up too much airspeed.
Right.
Because that's not realistic. You would never be able to land from it that way, right?
Right.
Yeah. But this is okay. You've pulled some power out and you didn't pick up airspeed. That's fine. Miami County traffic, Skyline 58843, mile and a half final, runway 03 will be low approach only, Miami County. Miami traffic, Skyline 43 going missed on runway 03, deporting to the east, Miami County. Carb heat in.
Oh, traffic coming in.
She ain't gonna climb.
Southwest inbound for landing out.
That well with that out.
Alright, there's 500.
Oh, standard rate only.
Yeah.
Don't get in a hurry. It ain't a race, I swear.
Oh, I thought you had to go to the bathroom.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. That was my excuse. You just...
Yeah, nice try. All right, so we have 5 miles until we really need to report, because Mara is that one. You've done this approach enough, you should know. Remember, Mara's that point on that T, and then Rexme is after it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Mara, then roughly 6 miles, then Rexme. So we're about 17 miles from landing, if you want to think of it like that.
9 point...
Okay, 64 Charlie, 173 straight up, southbound,
126.
Executive Tower, Skyline 58843. We are at Mara with Quebec, requesting practice RNAV 36 full stop.
Skyline 843, I was offline with approach there. Say it again for me.
We are crossing Mara currently. We're requesting RNAV 36 full stop, and we do have Quebec.
Number 843, roger, maintain VFR, practice approach approved, no separation service provided, report Rexme inbound.
Roger, we'll report Rexme. 58843, Rexme inbound.
843, continue approach.
So see how I'm calling him like half a mile before?
Yes.
It's because I don't want, so what happens, and this happens all the time, especially at busier airports, is...
Do you want me to put flaps in or not?
Yeah, one on flaps. Yeah, do one on flaps. What happens all the time at these busier airports is that you go, okay, I'm going to do it.
843, runway 36, clear to land, wind 80 at 4.
Roger, copy the winds, clear to land 36, 58843. What happens is you say, I'm going to key it exactly as I'm crossing. And so one thing that happens is you start staring at this counting down. That's not useful. You got all this other stuff to worry about, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
Yeah, and if the radio's busy...
Exactly. So also, you haven't started coming down yet.
Yeah, I know. I was just waiting for my glide slope. I should have started coming down before.
Yeah, remember we've kind of gone over this, is that you wait, if you're waiting until the glide path starts to come in, now you're chasing it, right?
Right.
And now what's happening? Yeah, all that time you spent slowing down, now you got to dive. There you go. You get it back, but there's always the same sort of little part right there that you need like another minute of planning.
All right, I will start earlier.
Yeah, start.
For some reason, like I've always been practicing at home of not doing it until final approach fix, and that honestly screwed me up with putting the flaps in when trying to maintain the glide path. And
yeah, every approach is going to be slightly different. So the other thing a sim doesn't do, so you got to start slowing down. So see how you're pitching down?
Yeah.
Your glide path is now above you, and you're going too fast.
Airport. And did you really? Oh, I see your flight test. As filed, maintain 3,000.
Keep that.
Flight level 2,
Don't come off, because we got to land.
Yeah.
If it gets too off, I'll just tell you that you're going to have to look up. So we're too low,
Yeah.
and we're off to the side. So you can use a little of that to get rid of some airspeed. Remember, you can always trade airspeed for altitude and vice versa, right? Until you run out of one. Okay, got it back. You're fine. We got it back. Remember, minor corrections the second you see them. Now we're starting to be high a little.
Yeah.
We don't want to pick up speed, so take out a little power. Yeah, perfect. You got it. You figuring it out. Now because no sank when you pulled power back, just needed a little bit of back pressure. What were your minimums? Do you remember?
1,400.
All right, I'll let you go ahead and look up.
All right.
I'll take that from you.
I don't know if I can get it off.
Oh, want me to land?
I got it.
Okay. So start slowing down for one. We don't need a second flap.
Alpha, runway 36, taxi V Alpha.
Pull that power back a little more.
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, we're really fast. You got to pull it more.
It's all the way back.
Okay. Now, so we're sinking. Now you can add a little power. Add a little power. Add a little power. Too much sinking. Power.
We're good.
Now we got it. Yeah. Here, let me help you real quick.
All right.